Hello, good afternoon. Today's topic is going to be a little bit of a heavy topic. So I have this friend who seems to be addicted to doing drugs, and I have been trying to be very supportive, very understanding, because I know how hard it is to quit doing some of the harder drugs out there. And what I've noticed the last couple weeks is that I'm having issues. I'm having dreams where I'm doing these drugs in my dreams, and I'm thinking about it all the time now. And I've been recovering for 5, 10, whatever, a lot of years. And it's frustrating because I want to be there, I want to be supportive for this person, but the way they're acting is making me very uncomfortable. I don't know how to even address the issue without pissing the person off, because if I bring up you're making me uncomfortable with doing drugs around, I mean, that kind of thing would piss somebody off who's not ready to quit their addiction. And it's getting to be difficult on me mentally. It's hard. It's frustrating that I had to pay for all my drugs and these people are getting them for free. It's frustrating that I spent all this money, and I don't know. It's frustrating that it's frustrating that I want to do these things and feel that high once again, but at the same time, it's like I'm past that. I feel creative. I have been more creative now than I ever was when I was doing drugs, and I don't want to give it up. And besides, my husband has told me that if I relapse and get heavily back into doing drugs, that I will no longer be his wife. And my children and my marriage mean more than, my feeling good. And I'm not just talking about pot, although pot, I don't know. I miss smoking it, but now that I have allergies, I'm kind of weary about that. But I don't know. That's a different topic. I'm not even talking about pot. I am talking worse drugs than pot. But I don't know how to confront this friend. I don't even know how to even say what I'm saying right here. And there's a possibility that she'll even see it on here and probably get mad at me. I don't know. It just, to me, it's been very hard. I don't know what to do. I want to be supportive of her, but at the same time, I have to look out for me. And I can't have her doing these drugs while she's on the phone with me and me just keep pretending like it doesn't bother me. I can't pretend that it doesn't bother me, because it does. But I don't want to be that preachy person who stands on soapboxes and says, you need to stop. Because when, like, my own family would tell me to stop, like even just cigarettes. When I used to smoke cigarettes, everybody would tell me you have to quit smoking. And I would say, yeah, sure, okay, and tell people what they wanted to hear from me. They wanted to hear, yes, I'll quit, and then the subject gets dropped till a later time, or whatever. I didn't actually quit smoking cigarettes until I chose to do it in my own head, where I said, this is the last cigarette. This is the last pack. This is the last cigarette. I mean, even if you have relapses a little bit, like go puff on a cigarette here and there, I wouldn't fret about it too much. Just get back on the don't smoke, but back with the whole drug thing, it just, I mean, I'm not even talking about cigarettes either. I don't know how to deal with this. I mean, I don't even know if there's a self-help or if there's like a helpline that I can call and talk to somebody and get some advice on how to handle my friend's addiction bothering me. I don't even know. I mean, I don't even know what I'm supposed to be feeling right now, but all I know is if I let myself stew long enough, I'm going to relapse, or I'm going to want to cave in and do some with her while and I don't want to. I want to stay sober. I want, I would love for her to be sober. I would love for her to not even smoke anything or even smoke pot or pop pills, but I can't make her do those things. She has to want to do them. But I mean, I would love that, where I wouldn't have to have the worry of, is she high right now while she's hanging with me? It's the same. I had to deal with this with my mother, growing up all the time. It was like the biggest thing. My mother was a very heavy alcoholic. When we were young, she chose to, drink alcohol instead of raise us as kids. My dad had given her an ultimatum: either you quit drinking or you can't stay here. So she left. She, in a drunken rage one night, she's throwing stuff at Dad. And I remember we went to bed because it was pretty common at that time when we were that age. This was also around the same time. I was probably in second grade, maybe third grade. I was a brownie then because I remember my mom's boyfriends at the times would pick me up from the house and drop me off at brownie stuff, and then I would be waiting outside forever for my mom and her boyfriend to come pick me up and bring me back to my dad's house. Stuff like that I have not thought of that memory in a long time. But that type of memory and all the other ones related to my mother, where my mom always wanted to try to quit drinking. She would tell, when we were younger, we didn't know what addiction was, but we loved our mom anyway. Me, my brother and sisters, who I mean by we. So when we'd ask her if she was drinking, she'd always tell us no. She'd always tell us what we'd want to hear, and we were naive children, and we believed her. We thought, okay, Mom quit. And then what that led to was, if we went to her home, and we had to do this behind our dad's back because my dad knew what kind of person she was and didn't want us being influenced by her negative behaviors. And nowadays, I think, yeah, I'd do the same thing. But when I was younger, I thought, God, Dad, you're so, why are you making it so I can't go see my mom? I was so mad at my dad because I didn't understand back then that, he was just trying to protect us. I mean, but, being a young kid, I didn't know at the time, so I would take my anger out on him and the home. And, now that I think about it, yeah, a lot of that shit stemmed from my mom's addiction. And so when I was older, I would say I would say probably 13, 14. My mom still she moved away, moved to a different state. We don't know. We never had contact with her. She'd be in our lives for a little bit, and then she'd be gone. She'd be somewhere else. That's just how... Just checking time. That's how things went for my family life. And like I said, when I was older, I was probably 18. My mom had moved back to live in the same city as me and the kids, or me and my brother and sister. And so we'd go see her, and we'd get her to buy us some alcohol, and we'd just go get drunk at night. But before this happened, before all that, I was in a treatment center until January 96. When I graduated high school, that's when I was no longer in the treatment center. They discharged me to my mother's care. So my mom told them that she had quit drinking and she wasn't doing any drugs or anything anymore. And I, like a dumb person, I believed her. So when me and her lived in her small apartment, her subsidized apartment that basically the government mostly paid for, she tried to get my dad to pay child support because she was raising me. And she kind of forced me to ask Dad to give up his parental rights to me so that she could do this. And I'm glad it never happened, but that's how blind, of my love for her was I was willing to do stupid shit because I didn't know any better. I was 17. I wasn't even 18 yet. And, anyway, so continuing on. And I kept asking her while I was living with her for these those 3 months or 4 months there. And this was also when I lived in up in Bemidji. So, because that's where I graduated high school. And anyway, it was very cold in the wintertime and get lots of snow. But, she would hide her alcohol in big cups. Like, she'd have a cup like this and it'd have beer in it. Because my mom's thing was beer. She loved beer. So she'd have her beer in here, then it'd have a lid on it, and she would drink out of a straw. And, I was naive back then. I believed her for being sober. I believed her. And all these memories like that, I had several of them. And the last memory I have of her before she finally died was she said she was going to start being more sober in her life so that she could be in my life. Because I told her, I said, I don't want you in my life anymore if you're just going to continue saying that you're sober and then you're not. And then I find out that you've been drinking or you went to the hospital because you tried to kill yourself. Stuff like that. These are the memories and thoughts that are being dredged up because this friend of mine is saying that she wants to try to quit, but she isn't trying. Or even if she is, she's not doing a very good job of it, or she isn't trying to seek the help. And I could very well lose my friendship with her if she sees the video. And I'm just putting it out there. This is how I am feeling. This is what her addiction is making me feel. It's bringing up all those memories of my mother lying to me for years and me just believing it for so long. And, like a naive young child. I am 30, I'll be 39 this year. And I have not had my mother in my life for, this will be the 17 years. I have not had my mother in my whole adult life, ever. And it would be nice to have actually known if she could have actually sobered up, But anyway, I don't know how to handle any of these emotions. This is just how it's making me feel for the last couple days. She started smoking smoking drugs while she's talking to me on the phone, and it just made me feel so uncomfortable and brought up all these memories. I'm having dreams of doing drugs. I'm having dreams of, just relapsing and going on a binge. I don't know. I just don't know how to handle any of this stuff. Well, if you have any suggestions on how I can better handle this, or if you can suggest a helpline or somewhere where I can go and just speak to someone about this, thank you, and let me know in the comments below or send me a private message. I think you can do that. I don't know. I haven't really paid attention on YouTube. Anyway, all right, bye.